Let's be honest, Tom. Meeting new people in your own language can already feel awkward. But in English, that's a whole other level.
Oh, totally. You're thinking about your grammar, your accent, your vocabulary, and meanwhile, your brain is screaming, don't say something weird.
Exactly. It's like you want to connect, but the fear of making mistakes builds this invisible wall. So you stay quiet, smile politely, and walk away wishing you'd said something.
We've all been there, but here's the truth. Making new friends in English isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to be imperfect.
I love that because real connection doesn't come from flawless grammar. It comes from warmth, curiosity, and shared moments. And you can express those beautifully even with simple English.
So today, we're diving into exactly that: how to make new friends in English naturally. We'll explore how to start a conversation, what to say after hi, how to keep it flowing, and how to actually turn small talk into friendship.
And by the end, you won't just have phrases to use, you'll understand why they work. Because once you get that emotional rhythm of English conversation, everything feels easier,
Let's start with a moment that scares everyone, that first hello.
right? Imagine you're at a cafe, maybe a language exchange, or even a new job. You see someone who seems friendly. You want to talk, but your heart's racing. What do you do?
First, breathe, then smile. A smile is universal. It's the easiest way to say, I'm friendly without words.
Then you start small. Don't overthink it. You can say something like, "Hey, is this seat taken?" Or, "Hi, are you here for the event?" These are light, safe openers. They invite a response without pressure.
The magic is that once you start, the tension drops, because now you're in a real moment, not an imagined one. And that's when English starts flowing more naturally. And
And remember, people don't remember your mistakes. They remember how you made them feel. If you make them feel comfortable, they'll want to talk again.
exactly. So, your goal in that first moment isn't to impress, it's to connect.
Here's a mini challenge for our listeners. This week, start one new conversation in English. It could be with a classmate, a barista, or someone online. Just smile, say hello, and ask one friendly question.
You'll be surprised how far that simple act can take you. It's the first step toward confidence and toward real connection.
All right, in the next part, we'll look at how to keep that conversation going, how to go from hi to actually clicking with someone.
Stay with us, and we're just getting started.
So, you've said hello, you've started the conversation. Now comes the tricky part, keeping it alive. Because there's nothing worse than running out of things to say 30 seconds in.
Oh, absolutely. You say, hi, how are you? They say, good, thanks. And then silence, the most painful sound in the world.
But here's the thing, small talk isn't just small, it's the bridge to real connection. It's how we test the water, show interest, and create comfort.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be deep right away. You don't start with what's your life philosophy. You start with something light, something in your shared environment.
Like if you're both in a class, you could say, "Have you taken this course before?" Or if you're waiting in line for coffee, "This place always smells amazing, doesn't it?"
It's all about using what's around you. That's what native speakers do. They don't plan topics, they react to the moment.
Here's a simple formula, comment plus question. For example, "It's really busy here today, isn't it?" That's the comment. Then, "Do you come here often?" That's the question. It feels natural, not forced.
Yeah, because you're not just asking out of nowhere. You're connecting over something real and shared. That's what makes it friendly.
And once they answer, you don't need to switch topics right away. You can ask a follow up. That's how the conversation starts to breathe.
Let's try an example. Mia, you're a new student in an English class, and I'm sitting next to you.
Okay. Hey, is this seat taken?
No, go ahead.
Thanks. Wow, this class looks full today.
Yeah, I guess everyone wants to improve their speaking.
True. Is this your first class here?
Yeah, I just started last week.
Nice. How do you like it so far?
Pretty good. The teacher's great, and I like that everyone's actually trying to talk.
Totally. That's rare in English classes.
And boom, that's already a conversation.
And notice there was no pressure, no fancy words, just friendly curiosity and simple sentences.
That's the heart of English conversation. You build it like tennis. One question, one response. Light, rhythmic, human.
Here's a trick that always helps: focus more on them than on yourself. People love to talk about what they like: music, travel, food, hobbies. Ask about those, and you'll see their energy rise immediately.
For example, what kind of music do you listen to? Or do you like traveling? Or even, what do you usually do on weekends?
And when they answer, react. Don't just nod. Use little words that keep the flow natural, like really, or that sounds fun, or I've never tried that before.
Those small reactions are powerful. They show you're listening, not just waiting to talk.
Exactly. And honestly, that's one of the biggest secrets to making friends in English. Don't focus on sounding perfect. Focus on making the other person feel heard.
I love that because friendship starts where perfection ends.
So, your next challenge is this: practice one comment plus question conversation this week. Even if it's short, like 30 seconds, do it. You're training not just your English, but your confidence.
And in the next part, we'll explore something deeper: how to connect emotionally once the small talk starts to warm up.
Because that's where strangers turn into friends.
Stick around. The best part's coming next.
So, you've made it past small talk. You've said hi, asked a few questions, maybe even shared a laugh. Now comes the moment that really decides everything: whether the conversation stays casual or becomes something real.
Yeah, because every friendship starts small, but it deepens when we share something personal. Not too deep too soon, but just enough to show we're human.
Exactly. That's where connection begins. When you stop exchanging information and start exchanging energy.
Nicely said. And here's the beautiful part: you don't need advanced English to do that. You just need warmth, honesty, and curiosity.
Let's start with the simple truth. People remember how you make them feel, not what exact words you use. If you make someone feel comfortable, seen, and relaxed, that's friendship in the making.
So, how do we do that in English? One way is by sharing little pieces of yourself. Let's say someone asks, "How was your weekend?" You could say, "Good, thanks." Or you could open the door a little. "Good. I went hiking for the first time. I'm still sore, but it was amazing."
That second one does so much more. It invites connection because now there's a detail the other person can respond to. Oh, you went hiking? Where? Or I love hiking too.
It's the difference between a wall and a window. The wall closes the conversation. The window lets light in.
I like that. Another tip: use emotional words. Instead of saying it was nice, say how it felt. It was relaxing. It was exciting. It was stressful. Emotions give texture to your English and make your stories more real.
And they help people connect. If you say, "I was nervous during my presentation," chances are the other person will say, "Oh, me too." Suddenly you're bonding over a shared human experience.
Exactly. That's where friendship starts. Those me too moments. When someone sees themselves in your story.
Here's a fun exercise for our listeners. Next time you talk to someone new, share one small personal detail. Not your life story. Just something like, I tried cooking something new this week. Or, I've been listening to this song nonstop.
Those tiny stories are gold. They invite connection without pressure. And the great thing is, you don't need to invent topics. Just use what's happening in your real life.
Let's do a quick example. I'll start. Hey, how's your week been?
Busy. I've been trying to finish a book, but every time I start reading, I fall asleep.
Oh, same. What book is it?
It's called Atomic Habits. I've been meaning to read it for months.
I love that one. It totally changed how I think about small goals.
See, that's not just conversation. That's a connection forming in real time.
And notice something important. Neither person used complicated grammar. It's all everyday English, but it's meaningful.
Because when English becomes emotional, it becomes unforgettable.
So here's your challenge for this part. During your next chat in English, open one little window. Share one emotion, one personal detail, or one short story.
Don't worry if it feels awkward at first. That's normal. But little by little, you'll find that people respond warmly. And suddenly, English feels less like a language and more like a bridge.
In the next part, we'll talk about what to do after that first great conversation, how to stay in touch, follow up, and actually turn that spark into a real friendship.
Because confidence gets you started, but consistency keeps it alive.
Stay tuned. The next part is all about growing that new connection.
So you've had that first good conversation. Maybe you talked about music, food, travel, something clicked. But now you're wondering, what next? How do you turn a nice chat into an actual friendship?
Yeah, because that's the real test, right? We all have those random conversations that feel good in the moment, and then nothing. You never talk again.
Exactly. The key is simple but powerful. Follow up. Friendship grows through repetition, not one time magic.
Totally. Think of it like watering a plant. One chat is the seed, but if you never come back to it, it just dries out.
So after that first chat, find a natural way to reconnect. It doesn't have to be a big gesture. Something like, hey, it was great talking the other day, or I really like that song you mentioned. I listened to it.
That's such an easy way to show you remembered them. It says you mattered enough for me to think about you afterward. And people love that feeling.
Or if you're in a class, you can say, hey, how's the homework going? Or did you understand what the teacher said about the project? Those little check ins open the door again.
Another tip, invite small, casual moments to hang out. You don't need a grand plan. Just say, want to grab a coffee after class? Or let's take a walk. I need a break from studying.
Yeah, the simpler the better. Friendship doesn't start with a big event, it starts with shared moments.
And it's totally okay if your English still feels clumsy. Friends don't expect perfection. In fact, when you make small mistakes and laugh about them, it often brings people closer.
That's so true. Because being open and a little vulnerable makes you more relatable. People connect more with honesty than with perfect English.
There's one more skill that helps a lot, remembering small details. When someone tells you, I have a test tomorrow, ask them later, hey, how did your test go?
That shows you care. And that's friendship in any language.
Exactly. It's not about remembering everything they say, just one or two details that show you were listening.
Here's a quick role play. I'll be someone you just met last week.
Cool.
Hey, Tom, you said you were going to try cooking that new recipe. How did it go?
It was a total disaster. I burned the rice, but at least the chicken survived.
Ha 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 ha, that's not too bad. What did you try to make?
Curry. I think I added too much chili.
I love spicy food. Maybe next time we can cook together? I'll bring dessert.
See, that's how friendships grow. One funny story, one shared experience at a time.
And remember, it's not about how fast you talk. It's about how real you are. When people feel relaxed around you, your English flows naturally anyway.
Absolutely. So here's your next challenge. Follow up with one person you've already talked to in English. Send a quick message, ask a small question, or share something you mentioned before.
You're not just practicing English, you're practicing connection.
And in the final part, we'll talk about what friendship in English feels like once it starts growing, how it changes your confidence, your identity, and the way you use language every day.
This is the part where English stops being a skill and becomes part of who you are.
Let's dive into that next.
You know what I love about this part, Tom? It's when English stops feeling like something you study and starts feeling like something you live.
Exactly. When you start making friends in English, something changes. Not just in your language, but in you. You begin to feel the language instead of just remembering it.
Yeah, because friendship brings emotion, laughter, curiosity, surprise, even vulnerability. And those feelings make your English stick naturally. You stop translating in your head, you just talk.
That's the moment every learner dreams of. When words flow, not because you memorize them, but because you need them to express something real, a joke, a story, an idea.
And it's such a relief, isn't it? To realize that English doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Your friends don't care if you mix up tenses, they care if you're being genuine.
Right. I had a friend once who always mixed up he and she every time. But honestly, I never cared because every conversation we had was funny, thoughtful, and real. That's what matters.
And the more you speak with real people, the faster your English grows. Not because you're studying harder, but because you're living inside the language.
There's a kind of confidence that only comes from friendship. When your brain finally believes, wait, I can connect in English. People actually enjoy talking to me. That's when the fear starts to melt away.
And once that happens, you start noticing all the small victories, like understanding jokes, reacting instantly, or remembering phrases without effort.
It's also how you pick up cultural rhythm. Little things like humor, tone, timing. Friendship teaches you things textbooks never can.
Like how to read a pause, when to laugh, how to show empathy. Those skills are invisible in grammar books, but they're the real foundation of fluent human English.
You know, it's funny. When you're just starting, making new friends in English feels scary. But later you realize it was one of the best ways to learn faster.
Totally. Because every new person you meet adds something to your vocabulary, your confidence, and even your heart.
And honestly, it's not just about language anymore. It's about building a life where English is part of your world, not as a school subject, but as a doorway to connection.
So here's our final challenge for you. Think of one person you could reach out to in English. Maybe someone you've chatted with once, maybe someone new. Send them a short message. It can be as simple as, "Hey, how have you been?"
Don't wait for perfect words. Just start, because that hey might lead to a laugh, a story, or even a lifelong friend.
And every time you do that, you're not just improving your English, you're expanding your world.
So go out there and use it. Meet people, ask questions, share stories, make mistakes, and keep talking.
Because real English, the kind that lives, breathes, and connects, doesn't happen in your notebook. It happens between people.
Beautifully said, Mia.
Thanks, Tom. And to everyone listening, thank you for learning with us today. You've got everything you need to make new friends in English.
And who knows, Maybe one day, one of those conversations will change your life.
Until next time, keep speaking, keep connecting, and keep it Easylish.
See you soon.